The NBA season is over, and that has made me think about what are some video ideas I haven't done yet that I could do for all of you because you're just so amazing and beautiful. So I've decided to look at the worst of the best, meaning that I'm going to look back at every NBA champion since 2000, aka the 21st century, and look at who their worst starting player was during their title run. This video is proof that not all rings are created equally. The 2000 Lakers, AC Green. AC Green is most famous for abstaining from premarital sex during his entire career, which is saying a lot considering he played with the Showtime Lakers and Magic Johnson, so the opportunities were vast. But he stuck through it, and he deserves credit for that. But that doesn't change the fact that by 2000, he was in his late 30s and was a shell of his prime self. During the Lakers' 2000 run to the championship, he shot 41% and averaged 4 points and 4 rebounds per game. One little interesting factoid about AC Green is not only did he wait a long time in order to bust his first nut, he also went 11 full seasons between his second ring, which he won with the 1988 Lakers, and his third and final ring, which he won with LA in 2000. 2001 Lakers, Horace Grant. Horace Grant will always be most remembered for being the third wheel on the first three-peat Bulls in the early 90s, and much like AC Green the year before, he ended up adding another championship to his resume, but he did not do a lot to deserve it, as in 16 playoff games during the 2001 Lakers' infamous playoff run, where they are arguably the greatest playoff team in NBA history, Mr. Grant scored 6 points a game with 6 rebounds on 39% shooting. This was difficult because not only was this the best postseason that Kobe and Shaq had together, but Derek Fisher and Robert Horry also played very, very well. You don't go 15-1 in a playoff run and beat a bunch of good teams the way the Lakers did that year unless you're firing on all cylinders. No offense to Plexico Burress. But Horace Grant was the odd man out. Speaking of Derek Fisher, when it comes to the 2002 Lakers, Fisher gets the nod. He started all 19 games in the year the Lakers completed their three-peat. He averaged 10 points a game and 3 rebounds and 3 assists per game, which are nice until you look at the efficiency. He shot just 36% and had an effective field goal percentage of 44.3. And while Fisher was known for his clutch shot making, there really weren't any clutch moments for him during this playoff run, so he essentially was just grifting his way to his third ring. And for as much as I talked about AC Green being Mr. Chastity, yes, Derek Fisher, when it comes to hot wives of his teammates, can be very, very susceptible to dropping his pants. The 2003 Spurs, Bruce Bowen. Now, look, I already understand this because this is going to be the deal. I'm gonna surprise you guys, okay? Bruce Bowen makes this list 3 times, and the thing is, Bowen was known as an elite defender and a 3-and-D guy, but considering all the on-off splits that he had during the years the Spurs won those 3 titles in that 5-year span from 2003 to 2007, and his minuscule offensive production, he gets to be my pick. As in 2003, he shot 37%. His effective field goal percentage wasn't bad, but he averaged just under 7 points a game. Really not a lot going for him except hitting the occasional corner 3 and being a great perimeter defender. He has one of the worst player efficiency ratings of all time. 2004 Pistons, Tayshaun Prince. This is more about how well balanced the Pistons were in the 2004 playoffs than how bad Tayshaun Prince was. He averaged 10 points a game, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, over a steal and a block per game. His efficiency was not that great, even by 2004 standards, but it wasn't a necessarily terrible postseason run. But compared to the other starting 5, Richard Hamilton, Chauncey Billups, Ben, and Rasheed Wallace, Tayshaun was the odd man out, and props to him, he literally never gained a single pound of muscle his entire career. He was always skinny as hell. His nickname should probably be Ozempic Man. 2005 Spurs, Bruce Bowen again. Our good friend, Mr. Snappy Bruce, was up to his old 3-and-D tricks in the 2005 postseason. In 23 games, he averaged just under 6 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. He shot a really nice 43% from 3. His overall effective field goal percentage at 47 was not great, though. Again, the guy was a great perimeter defender and could knock down the catch-and-shoot 3, but really, his game was extremely limited. But he had a great career out of it, and he landed in the right place at the right time. But the guy, in basically any other situation, except for the Spurs, with those Spurs teams with Duncan, Parker, and Ginobili, probably would not be remembered at all. 2006 Heat, Jason Williams. Yes, White Chocolate. It might be forgotten that White Chocolate actually did win a championship, and he was a starter departing champion on the 2006 Miami Heat team that's most famous for Dwayne Wade getting 30 free throws a game versus the Mavericks. White Chocolate didn't have a bad postseason by any means, but again, that Heat team was a little bit more well-rounded than people remember beyond just Wade and Shaq. For his trouble, Williams averaged 9 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists on a decent 47.6 effective field goal percentage while playing 30 minutes a game. He wasn't going to give you a lot of points. He wasn't going to give you a lot of rebounds. He was going to make a couple flashy assists, but really that's it. His best years were with Memphis and Sacramento, but hey, somebody's got to get the spot, and he's the unlucky guy. I'm sure he's devastated. 2007 Spurs. Oh, look, it's our good friend Bruce Bowen once again. This might have been the most impressive of Bowen's 3 title runs with the Spurs, as he shot a blistering 45% from 3, which managed to get him to 6.5 points per game, 4 rebounds a game, 1 assist, 1 steal, 34.5 minutes per game. Again, perimeter defense, knockdown shooting, corner 3, spot-up shooter. Not going to really give you a lot of offense, not going to give you a lot of post defense. And also, the Spurs got lucky with the Amari Stoudemire suspension, which people forget about, and also getting to play a really shitty Cavaliers team that was just LeBron James and a bunch of Make-A-Wish kids. But hey, I'm sure Bruce Bowen doesn't really care. Also, just off the record, when he worked for ESPN, he had all those stupid fucking little bow ties he used to wear. Fuck you, Bruce, and all your bow ties. 2008 Celtics, Kendrick Perkins. Perkins has done the impossible. He is a guy who is famous for being a scrub, and he's now on television all the time, and the 2008 Celtics are the greatest one-year dynasty in NBA history. But honestly, Perkins, and the bar is very low here, Perkins might have actually been a little bit better than people give him credit for. But still, on that loaded starting 5 in the 2008 Celtics, when you got KG, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, and Rajon Rondo, I'm sorry, but you're the odd man out. Perkins still did a fine job for being a center, where he averaged under 6 points, 6 rebounds. He was just a defensive guy, set some screens. His archetype of player could not survive in the current NBA, which is why I think he gets a lot more hate. And also because he says a lot of dumb shit and he has a lot of bad takes on national TV now as an analyst, quote unquote. But for what he was asked to do, he wasn't terrible. 2009 Lakers. Oh, look, it's our good old wife-respecting friend Derek Fisher once again. In the 2009 playoffs, Derek Fisher averaged 8 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists per game. He shot under 40% overall and 28% from 3. But, and this is interesting, Fisher did have a memorable clutch moment in the finals versus the Magic in Game 4, where he hit not only a game-tying 3 in the final seconds, but he hit a go-ahead 3 in overtime to bail Kobe's overrated ass out. Once again, Fisher will always be most famous for his 0.4-second shot versus the Spurs in 2004, but the Lakers didn't win the finals that year, as you may remember. But that moment versus the Magic in Game 4 of the finals, a game which, if the Lakers had lost, would have made it a 2-2 series with Game 5 in Orlando. Maybe that series could have gone differently. Who knows? But still, other than those 2 shots, there really wasn't a lot to write home about for Derek Fisher in 2009. Oh, look, it's Derek Fisher once again in the 2010 slot for the Lakers as they repeated as champions. Honestly, this was not a terrible postseason for Derek Fisher. He averaged 10 points, 2.5 rebounds, 2.8 assists. He shot 45% overall, 36% from 3, and had a respectable 52 effective field goal percentage. So again, not a terrible player. And again, he really had a shining moment in Game 3 of the NBA Finals with the series tied 1-1. Fisher had a monster fourth quarter while Kobe went 1 for 6. Again, Fisher bailing out Kobe's overrated ass, which helped the Lakers get a 2-1 lead and take a game in Boston. And the Lakers eventually, as we all know, ended up winning Game 7 at home. But for the most part, Derek Fisher was once again just a spot-up shooter and not really much more. But the guy did have his clutch moments, but somebody has to be here, so I went with him. And I'm sure Matt Barnes is very happy and agrees with me about this select. 2011 Mavericks, Deshaun Stevenson. Deshaun Stevenson will always be known for his little beef with LeBron in the mid-2000s when Stevenson was on the Wizards. But Stevenson did get the last laugh, I guess, against LeBron in 2011 when he beat the Heat. And I say he very lightly because really it was just a mixture, a lot of Dirk making clutch shots and timely shots by Jason Terry and others. Stevenson, during that playoff run, averaged 4.5 points per game, under a rebound and assist per game. He shot 35%, but he did have an effective field goal percentage of 51 because most of his shots were threes, and he did shoot well from 3. But overall, a guy who once compared himself to Michael Jordan coming out of the draft in the early 2000s. That's not a joke. Google Deshaun Stevenson, Michael Jordan, if you want to laugh. Certainly did not imitate MJ. Although maybe if they're talking about 65-year-old MJ who smokes 10 cigars a day, maybe the production would be comparable to what Stevenson had in 2011. But I don't know. 2012 Heat, Shane Battier. When you're talking about the Heat with the big three, it's always going to be down to two guys, either Mario Chalmers or Battier. And Battier gets the nod here. He was basically kind of like a newer age Bruce Bowen in that he was tasked with being a perimeter defender. He could guard guys down low defensively, and he could also knock down an open three, or at least that was his job. In the 2012 playoff run to the title, he had 7 points a game, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, good defense, but he shot 38% on mostly threes, whereas effective field goal percentage was a good 53. But again, this was a guy who wasn't exactly a bad player, but compared to the other 4 starters, again, somebody's got to be the pick here, and Battier gets it. But he would not be the pick for the 2013 Heat. That would go to Mario Chalmers. Chalmers had his moments in the 2012 playoffs, especially in the finals where he dropped a 25-point gem in Game 4, but the 2013 postseason run was somewhat different for poor Rio. He averaged under 10 points a game, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. His efficiency wasn't great either. He shot under 42% and 35% from 3, even though he was supposed to be a knockdown 3-point shooter. But nevertheless, despite Chalmers being mediocre as hell, the Heat successfully defended their championship and repeated as champions, but they would not three-peat, as the Spurs got their revenge the next season in 2014, which means that some player from the 2014 Spurs has to be chosen, and I went with Thiago Splitter. And again, when you're talking about a team that had Tim Duncan and Tony Parker and a young Kawhi Leonard, Splitter gets the nod here, not necessarily because he was terrible, especially based on what he was asked to do, which was be basically kind of a spot center big man to kind of spell Tim Duncan for a lot of spaces. He averaged 7.5 points per game, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and he shot 61%, but that kind of shows you how good the 2014 Spurs were as the postseason went on. They got pushed to the brink in the first round versus the Mavericks, but especially in the finals, they were essentially unstoppable, particularly in the last 3 games, and I'm definitely not mad about it. 2015 Warriors, Harrison Barnes. Yes, you got Steph, Clay, Draymond. Harrison Barnes is the unlucky guy, and Harrison Barnes has basically been the same guy his entire career. In the 2015 title run, he averaged 10.6 points per game, 5 rebounds, 1.5 assists. He shot 44% overall, 36% from 3. That's just what Harrison Barnes does. He really doesn't do anything great. He's not a great defender. He's not a good passer. He's not going to rebound a lot. He's going to give you about 15 or so points on average efficiency. He's basically the textbook average player. He's the Michael Jordan or LeBron James of average players. But he was also able to squeeze out a ring, so good for him. He was also a starter on the 73-win Warriors, but they would fall short in the finals. I don't know if you knew that, to the Cavaliers, blowing a 3-1 lead, and that's why Tristan Thompson gets my nod as the pick for the 2016 Cavaliers worst starter, although Thompson, again, not a bad player, at least not back in 2016, and he had some crucial rebounds. He averaged under 7 points, 9 rebounds a game, 4 offensive rebounds a game, under 1 assist, steal, and block per game in about 30 minutes. He shot 53%. Again, good player, but he's a guy who basically had to be spoon-fed all of his points, and being a try-hard rebounder and defender, those are a dime a dozen. But hey, he's an extremely faithful husband, second only to Derek Fisher in terms of faithfulness and not cheating on people. The 2017 Warriors, Zaza Pachulia. This is the best one because Pachulia was a guy that he started 15 games. The Warriors, as you might have known, in 2017, in my opinion, are the greatest basketball team ever, and Zaza Pachulia was to them what Christian Laettner was to the Dream Team. He started 15 of 17 games, but he averaged just 14 minutes a game, which is kind of funny because it's almost like the Warriors knew they were so stacked, so they would give teams a handicap by playing Zaza, and then they would just crush your dreams. In the rare instance where an opponent was actually keeping up with the Warriors, Zaza was useful for assassinating the other team's best player, aka Kawhi Leonard, and unironically, Kawhi's career was never the same again. For his trouble, Zaza averaged 5 points and 4 rebounds on 53% shooting in the 2017 title run for the Warriors, but he'll always be most known for being a dirty fuck. 2018 Warriors, Andre Iguodala, Mr. Inflatable Biceps himself. The 2018 Warriors were still a loaded team, as one is when you got Durant, Steph, Clay, and Draymond all at their peaks, but they were not quite as good as the 2017 edition. position. Iguodala at this point was starting to show some signs of decline, at least relative to his 2015 self, which had won Finals MVP. In the 2018 playoff run, he missed 6 games, and in the 15 games he played, 12 starting, he averaged 8 points, 4.5 rebounds, 3 assists, and over a steal and half a block per game. He did so on nearly 50% shooting and an effective field goal percentage of 58. Again, even though Iguodala might not have been as good as he had been in years prior, he was still a very effective player, and him missing some games versus the Rockets was actually kind of a big reason why that series might have gone 7. But him being here is more of a reflection of how loaded the Warriors were than him being a bad player. 2019 Raptors, Danny Green, Mr. Lionel Richie lookalike. Somehow, Danny Green has ended up winning 3 championships with 3 different teams. Put him in the Hall of Fame right now. Danny Green was literally nicknamed Icy Hot because he was so unbelievably inconsistent shooting the ball. During the Raptors' surprising 2019 title run, Danny Green averaged just under 7 points a game, 3.6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1.3 steals per game. He shot 34% overall and 33% from 3, again earning his Icy Hot moniker. When he was younger with the Spurs, he was way more consistent and better, and he got a championship out of them in 2014, just like he got a championship out of the Raptors in 2019. Surely he wouldn't get lucky a third time, right? Oh, fuck, wait a minute. No, in 2020, guess who gets it again? Danny Green. The 2020 Lakers in the bubble. Danny Green, again, got a championship ring. He repeated as an NBA champion despite basically being a 3-and-D player who didn't know how to shoot the 3 consistently. In the Lakers' 2020 title run, he averaged 8 points a game, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. He shot 35%, 34% from 3. Just think about all the great players throughout NBA history who've had ridiculous postseasons, who've never made a finals or won a championship, and this guy is out here winning multiple championships playing like Anthony Bennett offensively. That's gotta sting. 2021 Bucks, PJ Tucker. Tucker took the baton from Danny Green of mediocre to below average 3-and-D players who inconsistently shoot threes that somehow win championships. For his trouble in the 2021 postseason, which the Bucks won a championship in over the Phoenix Suns, PJ Tucker averaged a startling 4.3 points per game, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. He shot below 40% overall, 32% from 3. Again, he was a tenacious defender, a good defender, but that offensive production is very, very ew. 2022 Warriors, Kevon Looney. I almost chose Klay Thompson for this because Thompson had a lot of games in the postseason run in 2022 where he didn't shoot the ball well, but he also had a bunch of games, Klay that is, making big shots, including a pivotal game winner versus Memphis in the second round, and he also had several 30-point games, and I gave him the nod over Kevon Looney, who had a great postseason in terms of what he was asked to do, which is crashing the boards and being an offensive glass hound, putbacks and stuff like that, and that's what the stats reflect. But overall, I had to pick him. He averaged under 6 points a game, 8 rebounds per game, 2 assists per game. He shot 66%. Again, a very, very good postseason for a guy who's supposed to be, what, a 4th or a 5th option, you know, and he played a very, very big role in the conference finals versus Dallas. But again, somebody's got to be chosen, and I chose Kevon Looney. The 2023 Nuggets, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. That's right, the same guy who once played an NBA game in an ankle monitor on work release from jail is now a 2-time NBA champion. Suck on that, Hakeem Olajuwon. Yes, that's right, KCP is the equal of Hakeem Olajuwon. And he proved it in the 2023 title run with the Nuggets, where he averaged 10.6 points, 3 rebounds, 1.6 assists, with an effective field goal percentage of 56.5, which is very good. Again, this is all very good, but the Nuggets in that postseason run were just on a different level, particularly Jokic and Jamal Murray versus the Lakers. I'm not angry at all about that, okay? So stop saying I'm angry. I'm not whatsoever. Okay, maybe a little bit, but KCP is the choice here. 2024 Celtics, it's good old Al Horford. 2024 Celtics basically moonwalked to a championship, and Horford, again, was a very good player, but he was basically, I guess, the weakest link on a team that really didn't have any bad spots as starters, which is why they were so good. For his trouble, Horford averaged 9 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, about a steal and a block per game, and he did so on a 61% effective field goal percentage. Again, this is very good, particularly for a guy who's a 4th or 5th option, but he's not a guy who's going to take over games for you offensively. He's basically an upgraded version of Kendrick Perkins, or at least what Kendrick Perkins was to the 2008 Celtics. And finally, the 2025 Thunder, Lou Dort, everybody's favorite linebacker attacker. Lou Dort is an NBA champion, but a lot of people aren't fans of his play and think he sucks, and he is definitely an impactful defender, but that's about it. And he also can occasionally make a super high rainbow three, but overall, his averages of 8 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, while shooting 37% overall and 34% from 3 show that he was by far the weakest link in a team that squeezed out a championship and now has more draft picks in the upcoming years than the entire continent of Russia.